words of Kate Summers, Friday sees more smiles than any other day of the working week. It's a beautiful Friday here in the FCT, and we're super excited to be back on your TV screens. And as you can see, we are all smiles. Cynthia, won't you smile?
Smiling now.
Because after today, we know we won't be back till Monday. Anyway, welcome to Good Morning Abuja, where we bring to you amazing segments. And today on the show, we'll be talking to a guest who will be telling us more about e-learning. And also, we'll be having a guest on health tips talking about ways to use alternative medicine and eating right to stay healthy and safe.
All right, my name is Cynthia Benyogo, and also Simeon will be talking to a reggae artist who is here to stay. If you want to know what I mean by he's here to stay, then you need to stick around with us till the end of today's episode of Good Morning Abuja. But right now, my name is Cynthia Benyogo.
And my name is Simeon Sunday.
And to kickstart the program, we will go on motivational talk, but we will be taking it a little bit different because we have one of the biggest spoken word artists to have ever come out of Nigeria right here in the studio, and he will be talking to us very soon about the way of the ant. He's a poet and also a teacher and goes by the name Sage Hassan. Good morning, sir.
Welcome,
Morning.
Sage. Welcome. Great to
Thank
have you on the
you.
show.
Good to be
You
here.
know, most time we see you on big platforms everywhere
know,
across the
stage.
country, and it feels so good to have
Once
you
upon
here.
a time. That was
Once upon a time, you know. And great to have you in the
That
studio.
was my pleasure.
So
Really
we are
glad
here to talk about the ways of the ant. So tell us about the ways of the ant.
Some years ago, I saw the face of an ant. It was a picture taken using a neutron microscope. It was an amazing feature, amazing images. The face looked human. The face had intelligence. He had emotion, had empathy. You could see some pain. And that was such a really marvelous, motivating picture to wake up to.
Okay.
And this has driven me very much into understanding, do we have stuff to learn from the ants? Some of our greatest religious texts have revealed some information that we can learn from ants. So I went to start to study ants in a bit. And I found out that, I hope you all know that they live in, what we see about ants is ant hills. But these guys live in colonies. These colonies grow to become super colonies. And some of the colonies also grow to become mega colonies. One of the most interesting features I learned is that the largest colony of ants in the world is the size of Great Britain. In that colony, billions and billions of ants reside. There's one very amazing thing that you find about ants is they don't have a leader. They don't have a king. They don't have supervisors. They all just live their lives, do their purpose in a major community. One of the things that we need to learn from the ants is community. The ability to come together and function together in complete unity, which is what Nigeria needs to learn. But what I'm trying to talk to us today about ants is not necessarily community, is the two most vital subjects that we might seem to lack as the people in Nigeria. The first is leadership. The second is vision. Now, how come billions of creatures living in a major mega colony who don't have a leader have leadership? How come? Now, if you look at it, yeah, when you check ants out, this is what they do. They're always running around from morning to night, just gathering food, just picking up stuff. And what do they do with this food? They take all that food, all that resource, and put it in a common purse. Everything is kept together for everybody to benefit. It's one for all and all for one. How come the ants who don't have a leader seem to lead themselves? To me, that is the key that we lack as people in Nigeria, the ability of self-leadership. Every time we put our blame on the problems in the country on leadership, the leadership failed. The leadership failed. But what we are supposed to do is to lead ourselves. It's for each and every one of us to pick up our own purpose and run our own race, do our own thing without waiting for someone to tell us how to do. But what makes leadership? What is the defining quality for leadership? It is vision. One of the most important things I like to tell young people is, what story are you telling yourself. The story you tell yourself determines the outcome you live, and the story you tell yourself determines your inner talk. The story you tell yourself is your vision.
Thank
Wow.
you very much.
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
we've learned something about community, one for all for one, and
Self-leadership.
what you tell
Self-leadership.
yourself. Thank you very much,
Self-leadership, yes.
Mr. Sage Hassan.
Thank
It
you.
was a delight having you here
I'm
to
glad.
motivate us this early Friday morning.
You're welcome.
All right, now that is motivational talk, but now moving over to health tips. We will be talking about alternative medicine. But hold up, we have a guest here in the studio. She is a radiographer, but has experience with alternative medicine, and she will be talking to us on how we can eat our local foods, herbs, and roots as a form of medicine. We're talking to Lekunzi Giselle. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning,
So,
Lekunze. I love her name.
I'm just curious. Oh, yeah, I actually do. I'm just
Lekunze.
curious. Eating our food as medicine. What kind of foods do we have that can serve as medicine aside vegetables, of course?
Okay. Africa as a whole has everything we need to keep us healthy. The food we need to eat as medicine. Aside fruit and vegetables, we have roots, we have herbs, we have nuts, we have whole grains. All of those contribute to eating healthy. So I will actually talk about eating alkaline, because our body milieu can either be more acidic or more alkaline depending on the kind of food we eat. So there are food that when you eat, they either make your fluid more acidic, that prone us to infection, and there are foods that when you eat, they either put your body in an alkaline state that will promote better immunity and keep us stronger. So those foods that actually make our body more alkaline are fruits, just like you named before. We have vegetables, we have roots, we have the herbs, we have the whole grains, and legumes, all of those. But the other family aside this, okay, tubers also fall under this category of foods that help our body to be more alkaline. So everything outside this family, if you take more of it, because it has to be a balance. You eat like 70% more alkaline foods and 30% more acidic food.
What about the food that will make it a pH system, the balance or something?
It's still the pH balance you're
Yes,
talking
Okay,
about.
no,
You know
but
the
that
pH balance.
you're talking
The
about.
It's
pH
all of-
balance is about 7.14. That's when the normal state. So it either goes down or it increases.
Okay, it goes
so if
alkalinic
it's
or
reducing
acidic.
below 7, it's
That's
going to more
acidic.
acidic state. If it's going above, it's alkaline.
alkalinic, okay.
So your body has to be balanced, not too acidic, and not too so alkaline, right? But it has to be alkaline because no disease, including cancer, can survive in an alkaline milieu. So the more alkaline your body, the more
more you're
resistant you are to viruses, to different kind of diseases and infection. So that is why food serve as medicine. We can eat our food as our medicine.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering, what are the
Those
the
foods.
basic foods, our everyday foods? Is it eba? Is it rice? Is it
Is it
beans? Is
beans?
it yam?
Which of them has
You know,
more
okay.
alkaline content?
Which
that
of
we could
the
actually eat?
foods that are more alkaline, it's a whole class of it. It's not as if you're not going to eat eba or you're not going to eat indomie. Yeah, but then, most of the food that we eat on daily basis are sugar-stimulating foods. They are not sugar in the mouth. Like you talk about eba, there's pasta, indomie, and more of those food. Yes, we are going to eat them. But let me give an example. Let's say you want to eat plantain. Instead of going for the ripe plantain, you go for the unripe. Because the unripe plantain will give you iron, but the ripe one is basically like it's very low. It gives you very small in terms of the nutrients you need. So if you take unripe plantain and a plate of vegetable, that's a good alkaline plate.
Oh, okay.
Yes, your plate of food is balanced, is more alkaline. Let's say you want to take Irish potatoes. If you are frying egg, Irish potatoes is highly alkaline. So you see, you're eating even though you are going to have small of acidic food in your plate, but with the Irish potatoes, you are balancing it more alkaline.
What about the
So-
sweet
so-
potato? What about the
Is-
sweet
Yes,
potato?
even sweet potatoes. Sweet
Okay.
potatoes is good.
Just so clear.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also
So what
alkaline,
you're
it's
holding in
under
your hand,
sugar.
is that alkaline in nature?
Yes. What I'm holding in my hand is very, very alkaline, and that is what inspired me to actually, you know, promote it, to put it up, to educate people to go with it. This is just basically a combination of spices.
Natural spices?
Natural spices, dry spices. Dry spices are highly alkaline because they are very rich in antioxidants. And antioxidants will help to neutralize acid in the body. Yeah. So here is just a combination of 8 natural spices. The spices that we use on foods, yeah. But because a lot of people don't really actually know how to use their roots and helps, you know, maximize their benefit in eating food, putting it in this form will actually help them to get that benefit. So if you have it as a cup of tea in the morning,
it's fine.
because the food you eat in the morning determines the quality of your health throughout the day.
Okay, so if you take this, the point is your system will be
yes,
alkaline
if you take this,
and you're good.
If you take this, it's more alkaline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really as breakfast. It helps for.
Anyway, thank you
Alright,
so much
thank
for
you
coming.
very much. Lekunze Giselle, she is a radiographer but has interest in alternative medicine. Thank you for coming.
Flooding is an age-long and most frequent disaster experienced in many parts of the globe. And Nigeria has had a fair share of
destruction of lives and property
resulting from flooding. Although experts say flooding is primarily induced by both natural and man-made factors, however, in the case of Abuja, the nation's capital, the flooding experienced is particularly as a result of human activities such as erecting of structures on floodplains and clogging of water channels due to indiscriminate dumping of refuse. This is further aggravated by a drainage system which is inversely proportional to the increasing population. A situation town planning expert Abubakar Sadiq believes can be prevented by adequate planning.
Way forward is actually maintaining, being proactive in designs and being proactive in design and allocations of layouts. Whenever they are going to do designs, they should be more defined routes and channels at which river flood are going to naturally flood when the rain comes, and defining the eye of the directions as well, because sometimes you give a wrong directions and when the rain comes it will make itself a flooding area. And again, where in situations where people have this attitude of dumping refuse and blocking drainages that are meant for a flow of water, when they do it and the rain comes, and if it can flow, it has a cause an overflow.
Niyi Olaloye heads the Department of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, concerned with the maintenance and management of infrastructure within the city center. He says his office carries out various projects to clear the drainages before and during the rainy season.
Every year, once the rainy season is approaching, we normally do a general desilting of areas that we know or areas that have given us problems the previous year. We go back there to revisit those places and desilt the drains and culverts, the sand traps, and other underground drainage structures that convey stormwater whenever it rains. We do that before the rainy season sets in, and when the rainy season comes in fully, we also go around whenever it rains to identify places where we have flooding, and then we package solutions for them in terms of minor contracts here and there to resolve those issues.
The Director General, FCT Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, says residents can protect themselves from flooding by respecting construction rules and regulations and disposing of waste through the appropriate channel.
That was the FCT flooding situation reports compiled by our ICT NTA Channel 5 Abuja team. That was packaged by Toybat and supervised by Yusuf Adebowale. Now moving on, we'll be talking about something that we saw really thrive, especially during the lockdown, and that is e-learning. We know for a fact that a lot of private schools keyed into e-learning, especially as students were asked to sit at home to curtail the spread of the coronavirus. And with us in the studio is a young smart man who is an e-learning technical developer, and he goes by the name Kolade Adebimpe. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, speaking about e-learning, of course, we saw that there was a major boost. A lot of schools are still doing online teaching and
classes.
So what's your opinion about that? Why did it take us this long to key into that?
Yeah, so thank you once again. When we don't have some situation, probably we might not know how important some things are. But I would say in terms of technology, we're trying as a nation, we're trying as a country, and but we still have some lapses when it comes to fully implementing technology with education. And when you say e-learning, it's majorly about fusing, connecting technology and education. So we still have some deficit when it comes to technology, and that was the major reason why we didn't really embrace e-learning. But with the whole pandemic, the coronavirus situation, we've been able to see that if we're just pushed a little bit, and because we have the talent, we have people who can actually develop things like this, then we can actually achieve a lot when it comes to e-learning. So yeah, technology was by far the major reason, the major challenge that we faced, and would I say some bit of content, but without technology, even content, you won't be able to achieve it. So I would say technology was the major reason why we didn't key into it before the
So we say we have enough content now for e-learning?
I would say we have a large base of content where we can pick from. We have something going on for us. For example, if we pay focus to the Nigerian curriculum that is developed by NERDC, actually the ones in charge of coming up with curriculum for primary and secondary schools in Nigeria, they've been able to come up with a very suitable curriculum for people to pick out content from. So that's like the base. That's where you can pick things from. So if we now start developing skills that would enable us function properly in this e-learning field, then we can kind of look at what NERDC has and pick up stuff from it and be able to develop engaging content from it.
Okay. So talking about e-learning, we know e-learning is not new. We've been hearing about this, but it's just that in this climate, it's not popular. Most times you tell people that I'm studying, electronically, and they're like, okay, go real school. You get the point.
Online
so
courses,
online courses, they're like, is that real? So you've stated the challenge we have in Nigeria, which is technology. So how do you think Nigerians can really imbibe the attitude of going online to study most of the courses, whether primary, secondary school, or even for trainings, but especially for organizations?
Okay, the first thing is the orientation. And like I said, this situation, the lockdown, COVID-19, actually created the situation for us. So the orientation has been everywhere. We listen to the radio, we kind of watch television programs where we are told about e-learning and all of that. And I would say the tools that we need for e-learning, like technological tools, like social media, internet and all of that, we are really trying on that. So if we can leverage on the things we have already, and like I said, one major challenge again with e-learning will be the conceptual notion on e-learning. So everyone thinks e-learning is just about electronic learning. So in the actual sense, fine, E means electronic. When in the real sense, practically, e-learning is something that is supposed to be some sort of engaging learning, interactive learning, interesting learning. So if the stakeholders who are involved in building e-learning content pay so much attention to creating engaging learning in such a way that students, the ones in primary school, the one in secondary school, can actually key into all of these things without necessarily having the phobia to go online to learn things. Makes these things interesting for them. They'll be able to key into it. That's the first one. Now the other one is where government needs to come in. For example, in some of our schools, we need provision for bandwidth for internet.
Exactly.
So if we have students having access to internet, what I say, cheap data, and they can actually access e-learning content, that's like a very good starting point. So the issue of what's it called, internet will not be a constraint for them. So if that means for first thing, we need to pay attention to the kind of content. It needs to be engaging so that people will key into it. And next thing is, for us to access this content, things like internet should be provided.
And power.
Exactly. Power should also be something that shouldn't hinder the progress of e-learning. Yeah.
All right, let me quickly ask you something, but from your point of view. As an e-learning technical developer, you create or develop content for e-learning. Do you think after this pandemic, when everything goes back to normal, people are back to classrooms and stuff, do you think e-learning will continue to thrive in the Nigerian society, or it will just die? Considering the kind of people that we are, though.
Yeah, sure.
That we like human face-to-face interactions.
Yeah, sure. So the good thing about e-learning is the fact that it has sort of opened our eyes to some things. For example, cost. Cost is a major issue. We know some organizations who usually organize meetings, probably annual general meetings, and they will kind of assemble in a place, flight tickets and all of that.
Fly from all around.
Feeding and all, they spend a lot. But because of the fact that they were able to now organize their meetings virtually, they were able to save costs. So when we now go to the academic aspect of it, the educational one, e-learning itself, teaching online, it has proven to be very, very less expensive and cost-effective than the conventional method of teaching. So what I see going forward is this. We're going to have some sort of blended form of learning. So when I say blended, I mean the traditional classroom teaching. And what's it called, the e-learning method of teaching. So in this case, we are not going to totally eliminate the traditional form of teaching. It's virtually impossible, especially considering our own peculiarities in Nigeria here. But also, when it comes to e-learning, there are so many gains that have been recorded in this period. And from what we are seeing, it's going nowhere. So what is going to happen is just going to be a blend. There'll be a blend between the conventional method of learning, the traditional method of learning, and e-learning. So as we progress, then we're going to be able to have a better picture of how we're going to kind of synergize on this.
So,
thank you very much.
Really amazing. We have been talking to Kolade Adebimpe. He is an e-learning technical developer. Thank you for coming again.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And right now, let's go check out another guest. And this one is an artist. You want to stick around and find out what this guy is up to. This is still Good Morning Abuja, and of course, on this show we talk about several topics ranging from fashion to sports and also art. And now let's talk about art. We have an amazing artist right here in the studio. There's this word I will steal from artists. They say the world is your canvas. Paint it the way you want to. So today we have the creative director of Rags Nation, Abu Promise, who'll be painting our television screens this morning.
Yeah, morning Abuja, morning.
Okay, the name Rags Nation, it sounds like a record label. I mean.
Okay. Initially, how I got the initiative Rags Nation, it was when I graduated far back as 2014, and I searched for job all over Nigeria. I didn't get a job, so I started painting from a piece of rag I picked on the ground. I painted the rag and I got something beautiful. So that was how I moved to paper painting. From paper painting, I moved to canvas painting.
Okay.
So that was how I just started my art journey.
Did you undergo any form of training, like after your school? You said you graduated, but from our conversation off camera, you didn't graduate from arts.
No, no, I did not.
What did you study? You studied. You said
I
you studied
psychology.
Psychology.
Yeah, I studied.
So how
psychology.
did you just decide to venture into art?
Okay, initially, while growing, I knew how to draw. I knew how to draw. And I wasn't painting, but I was drawing.
Yeah.
So initially, I decided to just try myself. I did self-learning. Let me tell you the truth.
Okay,
So you're self-taught.
Yes, self-taught.
So all this thing you've been doing all through this
Yeah,
years for the past 6 years.
Yes,
since
self-learning.
2014.
Self-learning. I do a lot of research.
Wow.
Research and practice.
Okay. So how has it been for you, the arts industry? You know, we've seen a lot of, nowadays we see a lot of artworks on the road, you know,
Yes.
especially in the FCT. So we can say the people of Abuja are appreciating art more.
Yeah.
So how has it been for
What
you?
you see on the road is not really art. It's called printed art.
Okay.
Real art cannot be found in the road because it's very expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's printed art.
So most of those arts are actual art,
Yes.
but printed.
Yes, printed
for
version.
for
Those printed versions are like mass production.
Okay.
Then they have the original copies.
okay.
It's just like you buying an original art from me, then you decided to print for mass production just to make more money.
Okay. So let me even ask you, how much is your artwork ranging from?
Okay, depending on what you are looking for, I do a lot of work. I do charcoal painting, I do oil painting, I do acrylic painting. So depending on what you are looking for, depending on the size also. My art is ranging from 5,000. I also have paintings of 500,000, a million naira.
1 million.
Yeah.
We need to cut Davido to come on.
No, but art, everybody knows that art is quite expensive.
Quite
I mean,
expensive,
you're not
yeah.
just paying for the coloring, you're paying for the experience
Yeah.
and the
Agreed.
time and,
And the time,
effort
yes, yes.
that has been put into it. So,
You do several forms of art,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
tell us the kind of art you do.
Okay, I do charcoal pencil arts. That's and charcoal pencil on papers. I also do mixed media. Like the mixed media is like you recycle kind of art.
okay.
Like I use stones to do some arts on canvas. I use the bark of a tree to produce. I also use sawdust. Mixed media is like using unwanted materials to recreate something into art.
Okay, for someone
That's
that did not study art, now this must have been difficult for you, having to, you know, research and constantly teach yourself.
I have a lot of mentors. I learn. It's not that I really learn directly from them. I study their works.
Okay.
Most of their works online, I study it very well. I did a lot of practice. I failed. I failed so many times, but I failed so many times, and it helped me to grow.
Okay.
okay.
So that means you're definitely swimming in a lot of money, considering that.
No, not really.
Considering the fact that your art ranges from 500,000 to 1 million.
Not really. One thing you should know about art is not that you sell every day. Most artists don't sell every day, but whatever you sell in a month, in most cases, it can cover for 3 months. So it's just about creativity. You just have to keep creating. Don't stop because people are not buying.
That's really amazing. Good
Yeah.
to know. We are proud that you're doing
thank
Nigeria
you.
proud.
Thank you
The
very
fact that your piece, are being sold even
you
outside the
very
shores
much.
of Nigeria, and that's really, really cool.
Thank
Anyway, we've been talking to the creative director of Rags Nation, Abu Promise. He's self-taught, and I know I used to be an artist back then. I can draw.
Okay.
But I cannot
Simeon,
paint.
stop this thing now.
I can draw. Seriously, do you want us to try it? Maybe one day on subsequent edition of the show, I'm going to do a speed art, so you get to know. Do you do speed arts,
Yeah, I do.
or you take your time? I used
I
3
do.
years.
In most
that's
cases, like yesterday, I was bored. I produced 6 pieces. 6 pieces,
Six at
but
once.
smaller piece,
Okay.
small size art, mini canvas.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to the day Simeon will do speed out of me on set. But for now, I still doubt you.
Anyway, thank you so much, Abu
Yeah,
Promise, for coming.
thank you
And
very
we
much.
hope that you do well and
Thank you
you
very
grow
much. Thank
from
you.
where you are right now.
Thank you very much.
It's really been an exciting week on this program, Good Morning Abuja. I mean, we talked about a lot of topics
lot.
from flooding to entertainment to fashion and arts and crafts, name it all. That is to tell you that every week we have a little bit of something amazing for you, and you need to stay tuned every day to learn 1 or 2 things. I mean, we're not just about entertainment, of course. We are here
Exactly.
to enlighten you
And inform you.
also inform you. It's been a pleasure doing this with you, Simeon. My name is Cynthia Binyogo.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure having you as well, although I'll miss you since it's the weekend. And special thank you to all our guests who took out time. To Sage Hassan, the spoken word artist. He calls himself a poet and a teacher. That's what he is. I would thank him for coming. And also to our radiographer who took out time to meet us here, and also the ICT team that compiled the flood report we brought your way. Thank you so much.
All right, like we always say, please stay safe. It's the weekend. You'll be tempted to go out, have some fun, but always remember that COVID is still very much around. So please stay safe by wearing your face mask, maintain a social and safe distance, and carry along with you an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. And if you want to do business with us to promote your goods and services, please call the phone numbers on the screen right now. This is the perfect platform for you.
Thank you so much. And this is where we say the byes for the weekend. I just wish I could hug Cynthia since it's the weekend, but I can't because of social distancing. Keep the space, please.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.